Jon, it's an absolute honour to have you here in London. For people who haven't been lucky enough to see the film yet, can you tell us just a quick bit about JB's journey and how your own experience of making the film kind of mirrored that?
Yeah, it's an incredible journey actually. JB is among many things a very intelligent guy and a really big thinker. And he sort of had this idea that a lot of people said was crazy, going to India and trying to pull two kids out of a sea of over 500 million children and somehow training them in under a year to become professional quality caliber baseball players. And everyone said it couldn't be done, and he did it against all odds.
And talking about extraordinary journeys, of course, you're coming to the end of a phenomenal journey on our small screens with Don Draper. I'm curious at this point, kind of looking back on that, how do you feel that Don and the world around him has changed as the series have gone on? What are you most proud of that saga that you're coming to the end of?
It has been an incredible journey, 8 years in fact in the making, and Don has gone through a lot, a couple marriages and quite a few lady friends and relationships, and so I can't say just one thing that I'm most proud of about the show, other than the fact that the show exists and we've come to the end of it, and I'm still standing. That's probably my proudest achievement, is making it through alive.
One of the things that Don and JB have in common is the fact that they're essentially nice guys, but of course in this film you're confronted about the fact that you do have a jerkish side. I'm curious, what appeals to you about characters like that have those kind of flaws that essentially...
Nobody wants to play a perfect guy. I mean, that's a kind of a boring story. So you need a little salt with the sweet, so to speak. So it's the flaws are what make us human, and that's what makes characters three-dimensional, honestly. I really enjoyed the true story nature of it, and honestly the lovely message that it brings, which is if you work hard enough, some people can say it's impossible or highly improbable, as Bill Paxton's character says in the movie, but if you work hard enough, you can overcome that thinking, and these boys are incredibly diligent, hard workers, and really took advantage of the opportunity given to them. The easiest thing to say is, oh, it's a baseball movie or it's a sports movie, but it really isn't. It's more about families and taking advantage of opportunities. And both my character, the guy who created the $1 Million Arm Contest, and Suraj and Madhur's character, Rinku and Dinesh, both took great advantage of their opportunities in this particular arena, and both have been lavishly rewarded for them. The baseball has gotten an incredible footprint in India now, and Major League Baseball is really taking a very close look at expanding that footprint more into India and giving more kids opportunities to play. It's certainly not Don Draper. That's kind of nice. So it's something that's really appropriate for the whole family, and I hope a lot of young kids get to see this and maybe are inspired to not necessarily maybe play Major League Baseball, but really achieve their goals. I mean, that's kind of the overarching message of the film.
So exciting to see it, and I mean, film's like my second favorite thing in the world after music. If I'm not gigging, you're going to find me in a cinema watching movies. So to have a song on a soundtrack and hear it in that context is so exciting. And I loved working with A.R. Rahman. He's just a complete legend. So it was a really big honor for me to write with him as well. It was a fully trans-global experience because I was in London, A.R. was in India, and Mitch from Disney was in LA, so we were kind of trying to find each other on email through all the crazy time differences, but it was fantastic. We wrote it very quickly together, just pinging it back and forward. And then the really cool thing was that I had a gig up in Glasgow about a month later, because we didn't meet during the recording, and about a month later I was up in Glasgow for a gig and had a night free, and he happened to have a performance of his music by the Scottish Philharmonic Orchestra and said, why don't you come along? And we met in the middle of this concert hall with like 2,000 A.R. Rahman fans taking pictures of him and we're hugging, saying hello for the first time in this bizarre, amazing circumstance. It's just been great fun, really, more than anything, and really mind expanding for me to work with Indian music. I've not done it before, so it was really cool.
Apart from this exciting collaboration, what's next for you at the moment? What are you working on coming up?
Well, I'm flying to the Emmys in the morning. It's a very exciting weekend for me. and I'm playing at Emmy's show party over there, so that should be quite good. And then really just interested in doing some more film stuff. I find it very rewarding, and it's a good brain expander for me at this stage to just try something a bit different and quietly work away on my own stuff at the same time. So. I have done a little bit of acting recently, which will kind of be out there, but it was my first passion when I was younger, and then really I just preferred being my own boss. So it's whether I can be told what to do or not. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe. I
mean, like you say, you've really enjoyed working with Indian music particularly. Is that something that you think is going to continue to influence you, something you'd like to explore again?
Yeah, I'm open to anything, really. It's very educational and mind-expanding, working on with different styles of music. And particularly Indian singing has always really driven me kind of crazy. I just think it's fantastic. So I'd quite like to learn how to sing some of that stuff, because it's a completely different way of singing. So, yes.
Final question, have you got a message for fans before you leave us?
I miss you, and I'm going to see you soon. I hope you enjoy the movie. Go and see it.
Looking forward to the film?
Yeah, I really am, actually. I'm really excited. I think the plot's quite fun, isn't it? And I watched the trailer, and it kind of reminded me a bit of Slumdog. I don't know. Do you think?
It's got that kind of vibe, I guess. It's set in India, and it's about kind of improbable dreams coming true. It also stars Jon Hamm. Are you a Jon Hamm fan? Do you like Mad Men, that kind of stuff?
I think, if I'm right, I've seen him in Mad Men. I think, is that right?
He's the main guy. He is Don Draper himself.
Yeah, I thought so. I didn't know, because I'm pretty rubbish with names, but yeah, I'm excited. He's a good actor, isn't he? We're filming for next series, so that's going on until mid-December, so I'm pretty packed up. Yeah, everything's good.
Of course, I mean, the show just keeps going from strength to strength.
Yeah.
Why do you think it continues to fascinate people after all these series?
Do you know, a lot of people ask me that, and from talking to people, we get a lot of people stopping us, and I must say, I think it just takes people away from their normal lives, just even if it's for an hour on a Monday night. I think that's what it is. It's a break, isn't it? It's a bit of fun. Yeah.
Does it take some getting used to being a part of the show and having your kind of life, put on the screen like that? I mean, I guess initially you must be quite self-conscious when you're being filmed.
Well, completely. It's a different world, because the thing is with Made in Chelsea, it's a reality TV programme. None of us are trained actors or actresses, so when you're first thrown into that thing, it's completely alien, but you do become accustomed to it, and I've learnt so much, so yeah.
So you've learnt so much. What have you learnt then?
Oh, goodness me. I mean, I'm quite a social person, and the show has really shown the people skills. We get stopped a lot when we're around, even when we're filming, and now I find that I'm much more, when people approach me, I'm eager to speak to people. Before I was a bit like, oh, why are they talking to me, but you kind of become accustomed to it. And I must say I really enjoy it. We're so blessed. We live such a lovely life, and the opportunities that come with the show are so amazing. So, yeah.
I mean, like you say, the show does bring a lot of opportunities, but it also brings baggage, and it kind of limits some of your options going forward. I mean, did you have any hesitation before you joined the show about the fact that, I mean, it kind of does prevent you from having a normal life, in like career terms, it pushes you in a certain direction?
Well, for me particularly, I'm doing law at university, so going on the show was a really big move. But it's one of those things, there are great positives, there are great negatives. I personally, I really did have my reservations when I first joined, career-wise for me, but I think if you conduct yourself correctly and no one's obscene, no one does anything that naughty, fingers crossed, I don't think it'll tarnish anything that I would like to do in the future. I think it would actually help, The person that I am now from the show is a lot more beneficial, I'd say, particularly if you want to go into the working world, yeah.
Do you watch the other kind of popular reality shows like Towie and Geordie Shore and that? Do you like to see how the other half live?
I used to love Towie, and now I find it's just so obscenely over the top. I find it a bit uncomfortable to watch, but it is a different world, isn't it? I love it. Again, it brings it back to, it does take people away from their lives. I love sitting and watching Towie. It makes me laugh, But yeah.
Looking forward to the film tonight?
Really looking forward to it. I'm a huge fan of Jon Hamm and Mad Men, so yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see him in something different as well.
Why are you such a big Jon Hamm fan?
I think I got into Mad Men a couple of years ago and had a complete binge on it and watched everything, but I just think the cast, the storyline, he's amazing as Don Draper, and I think he's a brilliant actor as well. Amazing.
Talking about yourself, what have you got coming up at the moment? Some new music, I think, on the way?
Yes, finishing off my album, and I've got a single out in October, which will be my first kind of proper single, so really exciting, looking forward to that. I'm a musician and a drummer, so it's got good big drum sound, and it's very poppy, melodic, so hopefully people are going to like it.
Is the single quite a good indication of what we can expect from the album overall?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I started out as a musician, and something I really wanted to, be able to play on all the tracks on the album. So it's got a sort of half electronic, half live feel, and it's, what I've been doing for the last 3 years. So it's exciting to get it out. I think actually my single that's out at the minute, called Little White Lies, is probably one of my favourite songs that I've written, and it kind of went on this journey, and I wrote it probably 2 years ago, so to have that out as well is amazing.
You've been on tour with some fantastic acts. Do you have any special memories from the road?
God, there are so many. I think one of my highlights was probably playing at Pohoda Festival, which is actually in Slovakia, and I'd never been there before, and everyone was just going crazy, knew the words to everything, which, I've done most of my stuff through being online and putting my music out, so yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Are there more live dates coming up to support the album?
Yes, I'm going to do a UK tour around the time of the next single, so October, November, and then some European and US dates as well.
Are there any other acts that you'd love to collaborate with, either people you've been on tour with or just other people you're a big fan of that you'd love to get the chance to work with now?
I was watching Taylor Swift's new video today, and I do think she is awesome. That would be amazing. And I'd love to do something with John Mayer. I've been a huge fan of his for a while. Bastille as well. I'd love to do some drumming as well for Prince, or that would be a dream, but maybe one day. Thank you so much for all your support. You've waited a little while, but I promise it's going to be worth it, and my album is going to be out soon.